right about time to bring you up to speed with what's happening globally and in Nigeria. We begin with Philippines protests China's monster ship in maritime zone. Hunter Biden prosecutor criticizes president over justice remarks. North Korea fires multiple short-range ballistic missiles. South Korea court starts President Yoon's impeachment trial. And Garland releases special counsel report on Trump 2020 plot. Stay with me for these more stories. China's deployment of its biggest Coast Guard vessel inside Manila's exclusive Maritime Economic Zone (EEZ) is alarming and clearly planned to frighten fishermen operating around a shoal in the contested waters of the South China Sea, the Philippines has said. On Tuesday, Jonathan Malaya, Philippines National Security Council spokesperson, said Manila is lodged a protest over the presence of this 165-meter 541 feet long Chinese Coast Guard vessel 5901, which was spotted 77 nautical miles, 142 kilometers off the coast guard of Zambales province, and demanded its withdrawal from the EEZ. The Philippine Coast Guard said it had deployed two of its largest vessels to drive away the Chinese vessel. On Monday, Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Guo Jiakun said that its Coast Guard's patrol and law enforcement activities were reasonable, lawful, and beyond reproach in the area. The Philippines National Maritime Council also condemned on Monday the illegal presence and operations of Chinese maritime forces and militia within the country's territorial waters and the EEZ, identifying two Coast Guard ships and a Chinese naval helicopter which had hovered above a Philippines Coast Guard vessel. The escalatory actions of these Chinese vessels and aircraft clearly disregard Philippine and international laws, the Council said in a statement. Tensions between the Philippines and Beijing have surged evidently over the past 2 years due to overlapping claims in the South China Sea. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled China's claims to large swaths of the disputed waterway and has no basis, a decision Beijing rejects. China's expansive claims overlap with the EEZs of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. The South China Sea is a strategic shipping route through which about $3 trillion of yearly commerce moves. A lot on judicial matters. The special counsel who indicted United States President Joe Biden's son Hunter Biden has blamed the outgoing president of undermining the justice system by claiming the prosecution was selective and unfair. Special counsel David West, in his final report on the case released on Monday, said the president's claim that his son had been singled out for prosecution was gratuitous and wrong. Other presidents have pardoned family members, but in doing so, none of them have taken occasion on an opportunity to malign the public servant at the Department of Justice based solely on false accusations, he said in the 280-page report. Weiss, who was appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland to probe the younger Biden, said the decisions to prosecute the president's son were the result of fair investigations, and calling them into question undermine the very foundation of what makes America's justice system fair and equitable. West said the prosecutions, far from being selective, were the embodiment of the equal application of justice. No matter who you are or what your last name is, you are subject to the same laws as everyone else in the States. Under Justice Department regulations, special counsel submit a final report at the end of the investigation. The elder Biden issued a pardon for his son for firearms and tax convictions last month after earlier promising not to use his presidential authority to intervene. The president said any reasonable person looking at the facts of the cases would settle that his son had been selectively and unfairly prosecuted due to his family name. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective persecution, Biden said at the time. In June, Hunter Biden was found guilty of gun charges linked to lying about his drug use on a background check form. In September, Biden pleaded guilty to evading $1.4 million in taxes in a separate case. He had been awaiting sentences in the two cases when his father announced the pardon. Hunter Biden's lawyer criticized Weiss's report, saying the special counsel had failed to explain why prosecutors pursued wild and debunked conspiracies about the president's son. In a statement, Abby Lowell said, "What is clear from this report is that the investigation into Hunter Biden is a cautionary tale of the abuse of prosecutorial power." Still on judicial matters, South Korea's military reports that North Korea has fired multiple short-range ballistic missiles towards the sea off the country's east coast. The missile launches were detected on Tuesday morning at approximately 9:30 a.m. local time and were deemed to have originated from North Korea's Jangang province, South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said according to reports. The missiles journeyed up to 250 kilometers, 155 miles before landing in waters between the Korean Peninsula and Japan, South Korea's military said. The JCS said it was getting ready for additional missile launches and that the South Korean military had reinforced monitoring of North Korea's operations. It added that Seoul was closely sharing information with US and Japanese counterparts while maintaining a full readiness posture. South Korea's acting president Choi Sak-mok said the country will strictly react to North Korea's newest missile launch and condemned Pyongyang's continued violation of United Nations Security Council resolutions prohibiting such weapons tests. On Tuesday, the launches were the second so far this year after North Korea test-fired a new type of hypersonic intermediate-range missile on January 6th. Pyongyang said the January 6th test was of a new hypersonic missile designed to hit remote targets in the Pacific. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has vowed to increase his collection of nuclear-capable weapons to counter rival nations. At a year-end political conference, Kim also said he will implement the toughest anti-US policy so far. He also criticized Washington's effort to boost security cooperation with Seoul and Tokyo, which North Korea sees as the development of a nuclear military bloc for aggression that is focused on toppling his regime. Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi said he was aware of the missile launch. He said Tokyo was taking all possible steps to respond through close cooperation with Washington and Seoul, including real-time sharing of missile warning data. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, South Korea's Constitutional Court opened the impeachment trial of President Yoon Suk-yeol over his failed martial law bid but speedily adjourned the first hearing after the suspended leader didn't show up. Yoon's December 3rd power grab pushed South Korea into its worst political turmoil in decades after he directed soldiers to storm parliament in an unsuccessful attempt to stop lawmakers from voting down his suspension of civilian rule. He was impeached soon after and suspended from duty, but has gone to ground in his residence since, refusing subpoenas from investigators, probing him on insurrection charges and using his presidential security team to resist arrest. The court spokesperson said, according to reports, that the trial's first of 5 hearings started around 2:00 p.m. local time, but lasted just minutes with Yoon not in attendance. Although his failure to attend, which his team has blamed on purported safety concerns, forced a procedural adjournment, the hearings will continue without Yoon, with the next set for Thursday. Additional hearings are already set for January 21st, January 23rd, and February 4th. The court's 8 judges will decide majorly 2 issues: whether Yoon's martial law declaration was unconstitutional and whether it was illegal, either of which could prove grounds to uphold his impeachment. 6 of the 8 judges must vote in favor of Yoon's impeachment for him to be removed from office. According to reports, the National Assembly's legal team said before the trial started on Tuesday that there were overwhelming reasons for the immediate dismissal of Yoon. The court has up to 180 days from December 14th, when it received the case, to make its ruling. Still talking judicial matters, Merrick Garland, Attorney General of the United States, has publicly released Special Counsel Jack Smith's report on his probe into Donald Trump and attempts to overturn the 2020 election, describing the president-elect's criminal effort to retain power. The over 130-page report, which was submitted to Congress and released earlier on Tuesday after a court hold obstructed its release expired at midnight, spelled out in broad, if largely already known detail, how Trump tried to overturn the 2020 election. Smith's team states in no inexact terms that they believe Trump criminally tried to overthrow the will of the people and overturn the poll results. as set forth in the original and superseding indictments when it became clear that Trump had lost the election and that lawful means of challenging the election results had failed, he resorted to a series of criminal efforts to retain power, the report states. The release indicates that special counsel's final official word on his probe into January 6, 2021, and the actions by Trump and his associates before then to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power. The report contains a factual recitation of Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 election, including his pressure on state officials, the fraudulent electors' plan, his pressure on the Vice President Mike Pence, and a section on how Trump supporters attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. If it fundamentally mirrors the landmark federal election subversion indictment that Smith brought against Trump in 2023, retooled in 2024 after the Supreme Court's immunity ruling, and ultimately withdrew after Trump's victory in the November election. Until Trump obstructed it, this democratic process had operated in a peaceful and orderly manner for over 130 years, Smith wrote, referring to Congress's certification of the Electoral College results under the Electoral Count Act of 1887. Away from judicial matters are no more stories now. Rescue operation underway for miners trapped in South Africa gold mine. Rescuers have pulled illegal miners and many bodies from an abandoned gold mine in South Africa, where reports appear that hundreds, maybe stuck at least 100, may have already died. On Monday, a professional mine rescue company sent a huge cage into the mine shaft to close to Stilfontein, closely 140 kilometers 90 miles southwest of Johannesburg. Muzikisi Jam of the South African National Civics Organization, SANCO, said according to reports that we can confirm to you that the machine is working. It has brought up 7 people. At least 4 bodies were also retrieved, according to community leader Johannes Kwankes. A mobile phone sent to the surface with some rescued miners on Friday had 2 videos on each showing dozens of bodies underground wrapped in plastic. Sabelo Mungni, a spokesperson for the Mining Affected Communities United in Action Macau group, said. He said a minimum of 100 men had died in the mine, where police first launched an operation in November to force the miners out of the illegal operation. The miners are suspected to have starved to death or died of dehydration. 9 bodies were found in a community-led operation on Friday, he said. Another 9 were recovered in an official rescue operation by authorities on Monday, when 26 survivors were also brought out. South African Police Service spokesperson Sabata Mogwagbon said they were still verifying information on how many bodies had been recovered and how many survivors were brought out after launching a new rescue operation. Authorities now hope to bring all of the survivors out of the mine. The mine has been the scene of a standoff between police and miners since authorities' first effort to get the men out and seal the mine 2 months ago. Police said the miners were refusing to come out of the Bofelsfontein gold mine for fear of arrest, but Macau's Munguni said that they had been left stuck underground after police removed ropes and a pulley system the miners had used to climb into and out of the mine. Let's take this short break, and when we come back, I'll bring you stories from Nigeria. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. Now we continue stories from Nigeria, and we begin with insecurity. Boko Haram attacks Borno again, kills 40, abducts many. In the Dumba community in the Kukawa local government area of Borno State, no less than 40 farmers have been reportedly killed, with whereabouts of many others yet to be discovered, following an attack by the terrorists believed to be members of Boko Haram and the Islamic State of West African province, ISWAP. According to reports, the attack, which happened around 4:30 p.m. local time on Sunday, also left dozens of farmers missing who may have been abducted by the militants. Borno State Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tar, confirmed the attack in a statement on Monday. This is coming barely 24 hours after 2 people were killed and a church saw set ablaze in a similar attack on the Chibok community in the southern part of the state. He said Governor Babangana Zulum condemned the attack in strong terms, even as the governor called on the military to track and clear the insurgent elements operating in Dumba and other similar enclaves around the Lake Chad area. Sources said the victims were attacked by the terrorists after moving beyond the security track marked by the military around the communities to stop residents from straying into Boko Haram or ISWAP enclaves. The Kakwa area has suffered 3 devastating attacks by Boko Haram since 2014, when terrorist attacks intensified in Borno State. In December 2019, Boko Haram sacked Baga, the headquarters of Kakwa local government area and one of Borno's commercial hubs, following a bloody attack that lasted 2 days. Closely, a dozen military troops were captured and later executed in a gruesome manner. Thousands of residents fled their homes, marking the third massive displacement in the town since 2014. In the statement, Zulum condemned the deadly attack on farmers and fishermen at Dumba. He expressed sorrow over the incident while asking the military to track down the killers. Still in the news on political matters, reasons for Obasa's impeachment as Lagos Assembly Speaker. The impeachment on Monday of Mudashiru Obasa as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly did not come as a shock to numerous observers, considering the controversies which had trailed him in recent years. The 52-year-old lawmaker was accused of gross misconduct and abuse of office on Monday in plenary. 19% of the Lagos lawmakers voted to impeach him, and Obasa was subsequently replaced by his deputy, Mojishola Miranda. Miranda, who represents Apapa Constituency 1, is also a former Chief of Whip of the House. Mojid Fatai was elected the new Deputy Speaker of the Lagos House State of Assembly. According to a report, Obasa might have been impeached because of his 2027 ambition. Political watchers say the Agege politician's problems began when he started to build structures across 20 local government areas and 37 local council development areas, LCDAs. The structures were given a nomenclature, the Obasa Support Group. Political observers say the support group is aimed at controlling the grassroots ahead of his Lagos governorship ambition in 2027. Observers say he took it a little far when he proposed a bill to empower the Assembly to remove the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission last year chairman and wanted to pressure Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to sign the bill. It was also alleged that Obasa's disrespect for the governor got to the attention of the Governor Advisory Members, GAC, who reported him to President Bola Tinubu. Obasa, who represents Agege Constituency 1, was first elected in 2007. He has been re-elected 4 times in 2011, 2015, 2019, and 2023. In recent years, however, he has not enjoyed a cordial working relationship with the Lagos State Governor, Sanwo-Olu. Reports reveal that Obasa ignored warnings from President Tinubu and GAC to refrain from using his position to advance personal interests. More reports indicate that the former speaker recently instructed lawmakers to purchase festive gifts for his political movement, a step regarded as a direct deviance of party directives. These developments raised concerns within party ranks, highlighting Obasa's alleged disregard for the party's leadership and internal rules. President Tinubu and JAC members earlier cautioned him against disrespecting Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and engaging in behavior considered unbecoming of his position as Speaker, according to a source. And finally, on the news on PDP crisis, Anyanwu Igbo's court order resumes office. Senator Samuel Anyanwu has resumed office as the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Around 10:56 a.m. local time, he arrived at the party secretariat amid tight security and headed straight for his office after he was received by his personal staff. A group of armed police led by a DSP in a patrol van were positioned outside the party's headquarters located at Wadata Plaza, Wuse Zone 5, to complement policemen on regular posting to the PDP secretariat. Anyanwu dismissed a statement credited to the party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugbunagba. Olugbunagba had confirmed that the party had received the appeal court judgment recognizing Sunday Udo Koye as National Secretary. Responding, Anyanwu said, and I quote, "This is his opinion. It's not the opinion of the party. As National Publicity Secretary of the party, I wouldn't want to disparage him. Maybe he didn't get the facts correctly. I have appealed. While also responding to Anyau's claims, the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Debo Olugbunagba, described Anyau's decision to resume in defiance of a subsisting court order as unfortunate and embarrassing. Another look at the top stories. Philippines protests China's monster ship in maritime zone. Hunter Biden prosecutor criticizes president over justice remarks. North Korea fires multiple short-range ballistic missiles. South Korea court starts President Yoon's impeachment trial. And Garland releases special counsel report on Trump 2020 plot. And that's all on today's. Thanks for watching from all the crew. Have a blessed day.